Hi, my name's Pam Higgins, and I am a grateful believer and follower of Jesus Christ, and I teach 7th grade science in Gwinnett County. I have been single since 2003. My divorce was final in 2003, but we were separated for 4 years. So I've been pretty much single and on my own since 1999, which is a long time. I became a Christian through my divorce in 2001. Jesus kind of revealed himself to me through all of that. A few years later, he called me to ministry. I did lots of different ministries, from recovery ministries, specifically to ladies who were going through relational issues like I had gone through. I did singles ministry, I did youth ministry, I did kids ministry, so I did a lot of ministry, and God has really blessed my life through that. Then he called me to be a missionary in Kenya for 4 years, and I served as a teacher there and did outside ministry work. When I came back in 2014, I was grieving that and struggling to fit in. As somebody who's been in another culture, that's hard enough transition by itself. Tried to get plugged into women's groups, to Bible studies at my church, but I never really fit in any of those groups. And then my roommate at the time introduced me to multiple different singles groups. So I tried different ones, different age groups, different focuses, because I danced, so I did a dance singles group, and just was kind of struggling to make those connections with people. And I just finally decided that was because I was visiting too many and not really focusing on one. I was praying to God about which of these singles groups I needed to make my singles group so I could get connected. I was also praying a separate prayer of, God, which ministry do I need to get back into? Because I'd taken a year of furlough, which is what they recommend when you come back. And I wanted to get back into ministry. And I thought for sure it was going to be youth, because that's what I was kind of doing overseas, and was not even thinking about singles being my ministry. And God very clearly answered that, almost an audible voice, and said, you are to make Echo your singles group and your singles ministry. So I said, okay, and I stopped going to all the other singles groups that I was attending, and I just started going to every single Echo event, just every single one of them, and really started getting to know people and meeting them, seeing, a lot of the same people over at different events. Eventually, Greg noticed that I attend every single event, and he asked me if I wanted to volunteer, and I was like, yes, that's why I'm here. God told me to make this my ministry. And so I started volunteering more and coming early, staying late type of thing, which really added to it, because now I was fellowshipping with the people that were also doing the serving in Echo. Then Greg invited me to be on the board, the stewardship board. So that was October of 2016, I think. I've been on it ever since, and I try to just be really, involved with Echo. But what it's done for me is it just gave me that connection that I could not find in my church. I could not find it with my coworkers. I couldn't find it with just trying to go into other groups. Echo provided me with the fellowship that I was desiring in a Christian environment, with activities that I wanted to do. I was introduced to things that I hadn't done in years, like the camping, although I was already back into the hiking, but I'd only done whitewater rafting once and loved that one. Just a lot of different activities, and that I wouldn't do normally by myself. So being able to be with a group and do that is just really awesome. So my first event was a Christmas event, end of 2014, I think, at somebody's house. And it was, bring a gift and bring dinner, bring a potluck. I just remember thinking how friendly everybody was. And especially after I told them that it was my first event, and they would just engage me in conversation and help me to feel comfortable. So that was my first experience with Echo. And I continued doing different events. My first hike was one of the ones up at Buford Dam, and I remember thinking, because I wasn't in great shape, that Greg said this was a light hike, and this is kind of hard for me, so I need to get into shape so I can do harder hikes. So, but that's a good hike. It is truly a light hike now that I'm in better shape. And it was just great getting to know people and talking on the hike and just having those conversations and meeting people. A few months later, I went on my first camping trip to Mount Pisgah, which is one of my favorites. I love the mountains. And so that one is just stuck in my head as being this momentous occasion. And as I said, I was getting into better shape. And so I was able to do the Tennant Mountain, and I think it's Balsam Knob. And I just got up to the top and I was just like, yes, because that was such an accomplishment for me. And everybody was so encouraging. It's like, you can do this, we'll help you. And one of the guys even followed me back, went slow because I was kind of like behind everybody. And so he kind of stayed with me and make sure that I was safe and didn't get hurt or anything like that. I had to laugh because I'm a biology teacher, and so animals don't weird me out, and I love snakes. And so I'm walking along, and there's this little bitty ringneck snake, and it's a crossing thing. I'm like, oh, look, a snake. And he's like grabbing me, pulling me back, and I'm like, no, it's okay. It's not a dangerous snake. That was just a momentous occasion for me. And I've just had so many of those with Echo, just being able to go and do things and experience things that I definitely would not have thought to go and do by myself. One of the things that really struck me about this being a community and not just a group that I go and do events with is that this community really surrounded me when I had surgery on my knee. I hurt it on a hike and then did some other things I shouldn't have done as far as being active, and I should have been resting it, and just completely destroyed it and ended up needing surgery. And basically, when you're on crutches, you can't put weight on your leg for a month. You really can't do a whole lot for yourself. And this community so stepped up, and they brought me meals. They came to my house. People stayed with me. I literally had 24/7 care from this community coming and just surrounding me with the love of Christ. And that is what community means to me, and that's what I was looking for, and that's what I found in Echo Ministries. So now that everything's gone digital because of COVID, I just love that we can still get together online. And Greg and Will have found a way to be able to, videotape and, give us Bible study, little devotionals and testimonies like this, as well as interactive things like the game nights and coffee and prayer. I think really, it's just fostering that community. And I think it's really been good. I think some people are probably seeing, Echo for the first time, and they're first time attenders, even though it's online. And for those people, what you're seeing, online is who we are. And you're going to experience that same kind of camaraderie and that same kind of community when you come to a real event. They are real events, but once we start meeting in person again, and you're gonna feel that same way of being included. So, welcome.